Welcome to the Stepmom Side with Alicia Crasco, the podcast for stepmoms ready to create the life they want and one they actually have a say in. Here we talk all things stepmom life and just a little bit more. Leave the superficial conversations at the door and get ready for perspective shifts and actionable advice to help you on your way to creating the life you want, one step at a time. Hey there, welcome back to the Stepmom Side podcast. I'm your host, Alicia, and I'm so glad you're here. This is, again, like a really heavy topic. I feel like I'm saying this all the time recently, but we're going to dive into something that I know you probably struggle with. Trying to talk to your partner about what's not working and just hitting a wall. So if you've ever felt like you're repeating yourself, trying to explain the same thing over and over and over again, whether it's about dad guilt, really, really common, lack of boundaries, or just the way your relationship feels like it's falling to the bottom of the priority list and he just doesn't hear you, this episode is for you. You're not alone. And more importantly, this isn't a you problem. It's not even really a him problem. It's a dynamic. And the truth is sometimes you're just too close to the situation. So let's talk about why that happens, what to do about it, and how to finally get on the same page without losing your freaking mind. So here's the thing. When you're right in the middle of a situation, emotionally, mentally, or physically, you are the least effective messenger for the change. So think about this. If you are into like sports, I played sports in high school and college. So if you're on a sport, if you're on a team and let's say, your teammate, tries to make a goal or tries to hit like a winning shot or whatever and misses, and then you're like, hey, what you could have done was this, you are frustrated. They are feeling less than or like frustrated specifically about missing the shot or missing the hit or whatever. Is that the time to address the situation? No, absolutely not. Why? Because your teammate is heightened, you are heightened, and no one wants to have anything corrected like at the height of everything. So it's kind of the same thing like with your partner. If you're looking at each other, if you're looking at you guys as like a team thing, they're not listening to you, they're not hearing your words, they're feeling your energy. So they're not hearing just your words, they're also feeling your energy, your frustration, your disappointment. Like that sucks. Like I would rather you be mad at me than like disappointed in me. So disappointment probably like factors in too. And they also hear your fear that things won't change. And in blended families, this dynamic gets turned way up because the stakes feel so high. You're not just annoyed that he left socks on the floor. Like that's annoying, sure, but it's not like there's no consistency or there's no follow through or there's a lot of dad guilt or, enter all the things. You're watching him parent in a way that directly impacts your life, your peace, and your relationship every single day. And it doesn't matter if the kids are there or not, right? Like how many times have the kids not even been with you and you guys are screaming? You guys are having a heated discussion about whatever. It's frustrating, right? So you care. Of course you do. You care about the kids. You care about him, and you care about not building. You care about building something that actually works and not just like flying by the seat of your pants and trying to figure it out because that's what you have been doing and it's not working. So you're here and you're trying to like, Alicia, help me. So here I am. But when you bring things up, even with the best of intentions, right? Like that's how we all start out. Like I have the best of intentions. Like, let me just say something. To your partner, it sounds like blame. It sounds like an attack. It sounds like you're doing it wrong. My way's better, right? And that, my friend, that's when walls go up. This is totally normal. Seriously, it's not just you. Like my husband used to do the same thing with me. And this happens even in easy relationships. And we both know that step-family life is not exactly that. So let's talk about some of the things that usually drive this wedge. Dad guilt. He feels bad, so he overcompensates. How many times have you seen that? He feels bad. Not that he's not with their mom anymore, but bad that like they're divorced and the kids have to go back and forth. Like that's what he feels bad about. Like the kids are going back and forth and he doesn't see them all the time. So he overcompensates. Another thing that drives the wedge, lack of boundaries. the kids run the show and you're expected to just deal, I would say this is probably the number one thing that I see with stepmoms. The lack of boundaries that their partner has with their kids makes them absolutely crazy. Like, I don't understand why he can't just say no to them. I don't understand, how they run the show, or I don't understand how she's like a mini wife, your stepdaughter, and I don't understand how they just like do all the things. Because outside of this arena of like blended family, like you think that your partner is amazing and they can like run the show and do such a great job, and they're strong, they're confident, and then like their kids show up and like down. Another thing, there's no follow through. So maybe your partner sets rules but doesn't stick to them, or says that they will, and then doesn't. And then guess who's left enforcing things? You? Like that, because that works, right? Like I always say, you have to have connection over correction. Like you can't go in like heavy-handed trying to correct the kids when like they don't even have a connection with you, because they're like, who the hell do you think you are? Like, absolutely not. Like, what are we doing here? So there's no follow through. And like the kids see it, like they know, like there's no rules, there's no boundaries, there's no expectations, because they set them, but then like there's consequences that were laid out, but like there's no follow through. Like, so I can do whatever I want, right? Like the kids see it, they get it. And then also your partner not standing up for you or your relationship. You feel like the afterthought again. Like, how many times does this happen and happen and happen and happen? And maybe you're the last to know about whatever, or maybe your relationship is on the back burner again, or maybe your partner collapses into bed at the end of the day and you're like, I just was hoping for like a little bit of pillow talk, but you're just like wiped. What in the world, right? Like, it's so frustrating. These things are hard, like very, very hard. They're hard in like a normal relationship without blended family situations. And then you add in the blended family part of it and you're like, oh my gosh, how is this happening? And then when you try to address them, your partner might shut down. Your partner might blow up. Maybe they get defensive. Maybe they just ignore the conversation completely. They stonewall you. They say nothing. And again, that's not because you're just saying the wrong thing. It's because you're too close. He's too close. You're both in it. That makes clear communication feel impossible. Remember the example that I just gave about being on a team together and, you're trying to help your partner or help your teammate like correct things like in the heat of the moment. Like, that's impossible. You can't do that, because they're like, how dare you say X, Y, and Z to me? Like, what? You don't understand what I'm going through. Like, you don't understand why I missed this. You don't understand why I missed that. And it's frustrating. So it's not you. It's that you're too close to the situation. And so here's where it gets even trickier. For many men, when they feel like they're failing as a dad, as a partner, a provider, they don't lean in. They shut down. They get defensive. They avoid. They deflect. So when you say something like, I need you to have better boundaries with the kids, he might hear, you're a bad dad. When you say, I don't feel like a priority, he might hear, you're failing as a partner. And in that moment, your intentions are good. Your message that you want to deliver is good. But the delivery is wrong, right? Your desire to work and grow together get lost in translation because his internal alarm bells are going off. He's trying to protect his identity as a good dad and a good man and a good partner and a good all of the things. And unfortunately, that often means pushing you away. It's not fair. It's not okay, but it is human. So what do? How do you stop spinning your wheels? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked. I love this question. I feel like that's like one of those like Instagram reels. That was one of the audios that you could use. Like, ooh, I love this question. So here's the shift. Stop trying to coach your partner. You cannot be his partner and his teacher. It doesn't work. Typically, it doesn't work. Sometimes I have seen it in couples that I coach. Sometimes it does work. Typically, it doesn't work. It depends on how receptive both of you are to each other and like correction, but it typically does not work. I would say like 99.9999% of the time, it does not work, especially in the thick of emotional day-to-day family life. So here's what I want you to try instead. Reframe your intention. So I have 4 of them. Number 1, reframe your intention. Start with, I love you. I want us to be strong. I'm bringing this up because I believe we can do better together. Number 2, Pick your moments. Don't bring up heavy stuff when the kids are around. Duh. I mean, that sounds obvious, right? But I have absolutely done it. I'm like, you know what? This happened and we need to talk about it like right now. Right now is not a good time. Like the kids are here and you just pulled me away from them. Like, what's happening? Not when he's stressed from work. Nothing like being blasted by something like when they come home from work and you're just like, hey, by the way, I'm so glad you're here. Like, let me tell you blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's never a good time. Or when tensions are already high. When you guys are already screaming, I mean, having a heated discussion, right? Because you would never scream at your partner, right? You would never rage scream at them. You would never rage yell at them, right? Like you've never been like me and like turned into like the Hulk, like with like veins coming out of your neck, like turning green, like that. You've never done that, right? Of course not. Of course not. You're so much better than me. Of course not. But when tensions are already high, no one's listening to anyone. I will tell you, when I'm not listening to you is when I'm seeing red, because all I can think about is how right I am and how wrong you are. Is that you? So I'm not receptive to anything. So reframe your intention. Pick your moments. Don't bring up heavy stuff when the kids are around, not when your partner's stressed from work or when the tensions are already high. Lead with how you feel. Not what he's doing wrong or not what your partner's doing wrong. And I've talked about this before. Say, I'm feeling overwhelmed and disconnected instead of, you never have my back. You never correct the kids. You always side with the eggs, right? Like I'm feeling overwhelmed and disconnected. I'm feeling overstimulated and checked out. Lead with how you feel, not with what your partner is doing wrong. Last one, know your limits. Oh, this is one that I did not get for the longest time. You don't have to keep having the same conversation if it's going nowhere. How many times have you tried to have the same conversation over and over and over again? And you're like, it's not getting better. We keep having the same conversation again, over and over again. Yeah. That is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Like that doesn't happen, right? So if you feel like you keep having the same conversation over and over again and it's going nowhere, let's stop having that conversation. Most importantly, though, let's normalize getting outside help. This is where things start to change. This is what actually works. I worked with, I wouldn't say many couples. I worked with a few couples. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'm not going to be over here like, oh, I made $500,000 last year in my stepmom coaching business. No, I'm not about to lie to you. It was not even anywhere close near to $500,000. So I worked with a few couples, I will say many individual stepmoms who have hit this exact wall. The communication is broken. The resentment is building, and neither one knows how to start fixing it, right? Like, have you been in this dynamic where you guys are both talking, but like neither of you are like listening to each other? You guys are like, I've told, them, or they've told me this 800 times, but like they're not hearing it. Like, yeah, you guys aren't talking to each other. And so now you guys are in this like weird dynamic cycle and you don't know how to fix it. Like, what do we do? How do we get off this roller coaster? Where's the end? Like, where do you stop? Yeah, welcome. It's the communication that's broken. It's the resentment that's building. And yeah, you're right. None of you know how to fix it or neither of you know how to fix it because you're just like circling the drain, right? Such a great time. And you know what makes the biggest difference? A neutral third party who understands stepfamily life. This isn't about therapy that goes nowhere or trying to fix your partner. It's about someone like me stepping in and saying, here's what she's really trying to say. Here's what he's really scared of. And here's how we can move forward. I don't take sides. I translate. I help you both get clear on what matters, what's actually being said, and how to build a path that works for your unique family. So I actually have this thing in on my website, which you only get the link like after you apply. And if it like works out, if I'm like, okay, you're a good fit, like I'll send you the link to like sign up for actual couples coaching, because you do have to apply. Because I'm honestly like, I'll just be 100% straight with you. Like, you're a listener of the podcast. Like, we're real here. I'm not going to work with a couple where the stepmom is all in on like trying to get things to work and the other one's not. Or, sometimes it's the partner that comes to me and is like, Alicia, we need help. And then the stepmom is like, yeah, no, I'm fine. Like, okay, if I understand that that's the dynamic at play, or you guys can't be real with each other and be like, hey, you know what? These are my issues. And this is where I, am not doing the best, or, and then the other one is like, this is my issue. Like, this is where I'm not doing the best. If you can be that self-aware, I'm in, like, I love it. I think it's great. But if you're not, then it doesn't work, right? But I also say, if you want somebody to fix your partner, you got the wrong person. I'm not here to fix your partner. If you want somebody to choose your side and be like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Like, you are so smart. You're the best. Like, your partner sucks. No. Because you know what? That doesn't work either. Like, yeah, listen, I'm very much like you. I thought that I was the best. I thought that, like, I was never wrong. And so when we went to marriage counseling, like, right away, I loved it. And I've talked about this before in the podcast. Like, I loved it. I was like, it's great here. She's like, your husband is terrible at this. This sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. And I was like, yeah, this is the best place ever. And then she was like, okay, Alicia, let's talk about you. And I was like, what about me? I was never married before. I don't have any kids. And she was like, right, but your temperament and like how you respond to things, or how you lash out, or how you, deliver things that you say, not the best. We should work on that. And I was like, whatever. But honestly, truly, like, once I figured out how to diplomatically say things, it was so much better. So same, like, I'm not here to take sides. I translate. I'm going to repeat this part for you. I hope you both get clear on what matters, what's actually being said, and how to build a plan that works for your unique family. Coaching works because you're not broken. I know that sounds crazy, but it's because you're both ready for things to actually get better. Like I said, that's why you have to fill out a couples coaching application before I'm like, yes, let's go. Like, let's do this. It's when both of you are like, okay, we need these things to get better. Like, this is crazy. I'm not doing this. So if you've been trying to do it all on your own, I want to lovingly challenge you. What if you didn't have to? What if getting help is the thing that makes it all click? What if? Because how are you going to get your partner to understand you when you know that you've had this conversation over and 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 over again, and nothing's getting better? At some point, somebody needs to make a change. Hopefully it's both of you. I'm hoping that's what will happen, but I don't know. But here's what I want you to walk away with today. You're not crazy. You're not doing it wrong. And you're not the only one feeling this. This sounds crazy, and maybe you didn't understand at the beginning of the situation, or at the beginning of this podcast, but maybe you do now. You're just too close to the situation, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you for needing help. There's nothing wrong with your partner for struggling with this dynamic. It's totally normal. Kind of like you struggle with being a stepmom. They struggle with this dynamic too. Like, it's totally normal. But it is your responsibility, not just you, but like both of you, to stop spinning your wheels and do something different. That's really scary. That's really hard. But that is honestly the way forward. If this podcast episode spoke to you, please share it with a friend. Please, please, please share it with a friend. You are so worthy of feeling seen, heard, and supported in your relationship and in your role as a stepmom. I will chat with you next week. Thanks for taking time to listen to this week's episode. If anything was helpful or resonated with you, please share it on social media and tag me. I'm just at Alicia Crosco. And if you could leave a 5-star rating and a review while you're at it, that would also be really helpful. And if you find yourself struggling with your stepmom journey and you want a little bit more support without the hefty price tag of coaching, you might want to check out the Stepmom Side community, which is my own private community for stepmoms, where you get to connect with other stepmoms around the world and myself, where I hold weekly office hours and monthly group coaching. It's kind of like you have your own personal coach in your own back pocket. Again, without that hefty price tag. See you next week.